Thank you so much for 100,000 subscribers. I cannot tell you how much this means to me. And as a thank you, this is a compilation of all the best videos that built this channel. Over an hour of secrets that will completely change the way you view dating, love, and relationships. You know, the thing that started this channel was the realization that we've been poisoned by ideas of transactional relationships and meaningless, empty hookup culture. And I wanted to make a change. So whether you're feeling lonely and you're looking for the one right now, or you find yourself just not clicking with the right people, well, after hours of writing and reflection and research, the answers that you're looking for are somewhere in this video. Again, thank you so much for 100,000 subscribers. Enjoy the video. If I had 60 seconds to tell the world my view on love, all I would say is love is like the string between two tin can phones. Works with just enough tension. Without enough tension, the words won't reach, and with too much pulling, it snaps. So how do you keep the line strong? 1. Listen without fixing. Not every problem is a puzzle needed to be solved. Sometimes your partner just needs to feel heard. 2. Speak love fluently. Not everyone says I love you with words. For some it's time, for some it's just showing up. 3. Build a life outside of them. No one wants to be your everything. They want to be loved by someone who already feels whole. Because when two voices speak across the line, with space, trust, and care, love doesn't have to shout to be heard. If I had just 90 seconds to teach you how to ruin your unique personality, here's exactly how you do it. Step 1. Forget how to be bored. Kill boredom. Kill every second with noise. Check your phone. Open tabs. Watch videos you don't care about. Never sit in silence. When you kill boredom, you kill wonder. You desensitize yourself. Real life will start to feel slow, dull, and gray. Nothing will feel enough. Not even you. Step 2. Never care too much. Never go too deep. Never risk being the weird kid who actually loves something. Keep it light. Keep it fake. Mock the people who are building something real. It's easier that way. Safer, too. Step 3. Never let anyone else be great. Stay louder. Stay bigger. Make every conversation about you. Interrupt their stories. One-up their wins. Treat every spotlight like a threat. Alone, you'll be special. And also alone. Follow these 3 steps carefully, and you won't just lose your personality, you'll lose your soul. If I had 1 minute to explain how to know it's not love, all I'd say is, love is like chess. Because the real skill isn't in winning, it's learning how to get better with the person across the board. When the goal isn't control, but growth. When you choose to get better with someone, not be better than them. So how do you know it's love, not just a game? 1. Every move feels calculated. If you're always second-guessing what to say or holding back just to stay one step ahead, that's not love. That's defense. 2. They treat connection like a competition. If affection is given to gain leverage or arguments are just a chance to win, that's a power struggle, not a partnership. 3. They walk away when the board gets messy. If the moment things aren't easy, they disengage, or worse, start a new game with someone else. That's not love, that's avoidance. Because love isn't about outsmarting the other person. It's about learning from them. Have you ever met someone who just pulls you in, who you're addicted to? There's something about them that just glows, something that just sticks with you. That's called charisma. And in dating today, it is the real cheat code. It's not about being the funniest or the hottest. It's about creating a feeling. The kind of feeling that makes someone want to know you, or better yet, be known by you. This matters more than ever because dating in 2025 is exhausting. And no, this isn't just be confident or smile more kind of advice. This advice pulls from psychology, philosophy, and the actual science behind why we fall for the people we fall for. From the charisma myth to the art of loving, all the way to something that Abraham Lincoln did at dinner to get people more obsessed with him. So I'm going to walk you through 5 steps that build on each other one by one until you're not just more attractive, you're unforgettable. Let's start with step 1. Aliveness. Real charisma, real presence isn't cold, it isn't flat, and it isn't nonchalant. It's not, I don't care if you're here or not energy. That's not charisma, that's a defense mechanism. We confuse chill with confidence. But the most magnetic people, they don't hide their energy, they own it. Olivia Fox-Cabanet in The Charisma Myth talks about how charisma is made of power, presence, and warmth. Being nonchalant tries to fake this presence by pretending not to care. But real presence is when someone looks at you like they actually see something. When they laugh without holding it in. When they can actually feel that they're with you, not watching themselves perform coolness in front of a third person. If you want to be more magnetic, let your reactions land. Show that you're affected. Drink deeply from the chalice of life. I mean, be here in the moment with someone. Show your emotion. Speak like you mean what you're saying, not like you're above it. Because in 2025, when everyone is trying to be emotionally unavailable or nonchalant or chill, being emotionally available is a power move. Step 2, curiosity as seduction. What subject matter are people most interested in? It's not cars or money or power. It's themselves. Here's the thing. We're most interested in people who take interest in us. And no, I don't mean the basic, what do you do kind of curiosity. I'm talking about the genuine kind of wonder that makes people truly fascinating. Eric Fromm in The Art of Loving argues that real love, and by extension, real attraction, comes when you take time to explore another person's story. For practical tips, instead of asking typical small talk questions, get better at asking genuinely interesting questions like, what made you do that? Or how did that make you feel? People light up when they're actually truly seen. Step 3, resonance, or a nervous system sync. This isn't just poetic talk, this is actually backed by science. Have you ever heard of mirror neurons? They're the part of your brain that light up when you see someone experiencing an emotion. It's kind of when you feel that click in a great conversation. Now think about it. When you're in sync with someone, your laughter, your pace, your tone, all harmonize. It creates a vibe that's almost magnetic. Instead of mimicking someone, subtly mirror their energy. Adjust your tone, nod when they speak, and let your body language say, I'm with you. That is genuine resonance. Step 4, reflection, or beauty transfer. Now here's a weird story that you might love. I read How to Win Friends and Influence People, and the story was life-changing. Picture this. You're having dinner with a guy named John, and you leave dinner thinking, wow, that guy is a genius. I mean, he's a genius. And then you dine with Abraham Lincoln and you finish dinner with him, and you leave thinking, I'm a genius. I'm an actual genius. That's not just flattery. That's the art of reflection. When you reflect someone's inner beauty back at them, you elevate them. They start to see themselves in a more powerful and positive light. In other words, the more interested that you are, the more interesting you become. It's really the paradox at the heart of charisma. People don't remember what you said. They remember the way you made them feel. It's counterintuitive. You shine not by taking up space, but by reflecting back someone's own light, which makes you glow in the process. Step 5, the final step. Absurdity equals connection. Let's talk about what might be the weirdest but most important step. Absurdity. Here's the thing no one tells you. The most charismatic people are a little absurd. They're weird. They're not perfect and they're not smooth. They say dumb stuff and they trip over their words. They laugh too loud at their own jokes. And somehow that's exactly what makes them magnetic. Because absurdity breaks the script. It cuts through the curated, the polished, and the boring. And it tells the person, you're allowed to be real with me. You're allowed to be real with me. Philosophically, this traces back to Albert Camus. He wrote about the absurd as this moment when you realize life has no inherent meaning. So you have a choice. You can despair or you can laugh. Camus called that revolt. I think in conversation, it's called charisma. It's choosing to show up as your weirdest self and your most honest self, even if it doesn't land, even if it's awkward, even if someone looks at you like, huh? Because charisma isn't about being cool. It's about creating freedom. And the second that someone feels free around you, they start to fall for you. Not the ideal version of you, but the absurd one. What is the female gaze and why do most men get it wrong? Did you hear that? Search through any dating forum and you'll hear the exact same three answers: money, height, status. Yet those ideas fall apart as soon as you see an average looking guy with a woman who turns heads. So I went on a mission to discover the truth, the real secret to dating in 2025. And after 168 hours of research, I shined my light upon a clear secret. Well, actually 3 secrets that most men completely overlook. Secrets so powerful it might change the way women look at you forever. And once you understand them, you'll never see dating the same way again. The most powerful secret I found comes from the past. A painting, actually. Take a look at Friedrich Leighton's The Painter's Honeymoon, painted in 1864. The painting depicts a young couple, their bodies turned inward towards a shared focal point, a canvas resting in the painter's lap. The man, dressed in a muted brown coat, holds a brush delicately, his head bowed in quiet concentration. Beside him, a woman leans gently against his shoulder, her gaze following his hand. The composition is intimate and balanced. And from afar, the canvas may seem like a simple wedding picture, a couple enjoying their honeymoon. But under closer examination, it becomes clear that the artist Friedrich Leighton reaches across time to give young men the talk that their fathers never gave them about the female gaze and what women find secretly attractive. But before I reveal that, let's start with the first secret. Scroll through any phone today and you'll see more naked bodies in 5 minutes than your great-grandfather in 50 years. A 2023 report by Common Sense Media found that almost 3/4 of teens had seen explicit sexual images or videos online, and many even before they turned 13 years old. But why is this important, you might ask? Men are desensitized and desocialized. You see, money, height, and status are still important in 2025. I won't deny that. But there's a gap in the market that most men completely neglect. A secret 4th trait: emotional intelligence. You see, constant explicit images numb the brain's reward system and pull men out of real-world interactions with women. Why walk over and start a conversation with a woman when a phone meets your every urge on command? Online, women shrink to flat 2-dimensional images, pixels that hide their full 3-dimensional selves, with thoughts, feelings, and depth. The screens turn human beings into objects for pleasure, nothing more. So this leaves only a small group of men in the dating pool who still talk to women like human beings, not like objects. And herein lies emotional intelligence, which psychologist Daniel Goleman breaks into 4 parts. Number 1, self-awareness. You notice your own feelings. Number 2, self-control. You guide those feelings so they don't guide you. Number 3, empathy. You sense how others feel. And finally, number 4, social skills. You act in ways that lift up your group. This is attractive and underrated in 2025. I think a powerful example of someone who has such high emotional intelligence is producer Benny Blanco. Now, by most Hollywood standards, he's a below average looking guy. Yet he's dating a global superstar, Selena Gomez. Why?
What I felt for Benny, it was everything about him was honest. He'll tell me anything that he's feeling, and it made me feel like I could do the same.
His humor, his attentiveness, and his steady support are all classic examples of emotional intelligence. Blanco is a perfect example of how social skills and empathy are far more important than status and wealth when dating in 2025.
It doesn't mean like spending your entire bank account. It means just like being attentive, listening to the person, listen to the things they like. Even if you're terrible at cooking, they're gonna like it because you did it.
But even if a man rebuilds his lost emotional intelligence, there's still something missing. You see, emotional intelligence tells a man how to act, but doesn't tell him why. That why comes from the second secret: living by a set of clear, virtuous values. Living by a code. In a national YouGov survey released earlier this year, 94% of Americans said trust, 92% said honesty, and 91% said respect are very important for a successful relationship, far above paychecks, abs, or height. You see, a man who lives by a set of clear, virtuous values, keeps promises, tells the truth, and treats everyone the same, whether the room is full or empty. And this is attractive. Women notice this. And this finally brings me back to the Friedrich Leighton artwork and the third, final, and most powerful secret to attraction in 2025. The setting of the painter's honeymoon is plain. No marble floors, no velvet drapes, just a clay pot and sunlight on rough plaster. Leighton deliberately paints them in a modest setting. Likewise, the faces are softly blurred. She's not attracted to him because of his perfect jawline or cheekbones. Leighton refuses to paint those features sharply. So what's the message then? Why is she attracted to him? Leighton argues that attraction doesn't come from these surface-level qualities. It comes from within. He reaches across time to give young men the talk that our fathers never gave us about the female gaze and what women find secretly attractive. And his message all comes back to where we started. To gaze. The female gaze. If you look closely, there's a triangle of sight. The direction of the painter's gaze and his wife's eyes meet at one invisible point. Their gaze collides and meet at his brush. It hangs midair, frozen, but alive with promise. And herein lies the third and final secret. Ambition. It's clear that she's attracted to him not for what he owns or how he looks, but rather for what he's making, for what he does. The painter is still working on an unfinished canvas, still reaching, and his wife is drawn to that forward momentum. His wife is drawn to his ambition, to his goal, to his vision. Behind them, the orange tree whispers quietly, reiterating that point. That attraction comes from watching fruit being grown, not from eating it. If I had 95 seconds to ruin your 20s, all I would say is life is like a game of Monopoly. And the first step to losing Monopoly and your 20s would be don't take a chance. Don't ask that person out, skip the local event you've been eyeing, never strike up a conversation with a cool-looking stranger, stay off the karaoke stage, forget volunteering, and avoid joining any club. Only you can roll the dice, and only you can move your piece to the next square. So if you don't take any risks, you'll waste your turn. And for that matter, you'll waste your 20s. Step 2. Tell yourself you're already too old. Tell yourself you've missed your chance, that everyone else is ahead of you, that starting now would just be embarrassing. But here's the truth. It's never too late to start something, especially in your 20s. You'll look back at 60 and realize how ridiculous it was to think that you're running out of time before your life had even started. But by then, the time you wasted convincing yourself you were too late will be the only thing you can't get back. The final step to ruining your 20s, whichever road you take, obsess over the other one. Party, get wasted, spend everything you earn traveling the world, then wish you'd been more studious and build better foundations. As Danish philosopher Soren Kierkegaard puts it, marry and you'll regret it. Don't marry and you'll also regret it. The point is, regret is inevitable, but spending your 20s being paralyzed by indecision ensures that you'll miss both paths. Some people just draw you in. They're not always the best looking or even the funniest. It doesn't even seem like they're trying that hard, yet something about them is magnetic. They always seem to get what they want. People like them, they're popular without trying. Strangers open up to them. People go out of their way to do things for them, and no one can quite explain why. And then, when you talk to them, you're surprised because you feel like the main character, not them. They shine the spotlight on you, like your words matter, like you're the most popular without trying, like you're being listened to, not just heard. That's called charisma. And in dating in 2025, it's the real cheat code. Because everyone's tired and everyone's performing. And most conversations, they're just noise, they're small talk. But the people who stand out, the people who leave a mark, the ones that you remember, they're not louder, they're not smoother, they're just more curious. They ask better questions and they give you the space to show up as yourself. And you remember them, not for what they said, but for how they made you feel. So I'm gonna show you 7 steps to becoming the most magnetic person in the room, just by simply asking better questions. And no, these aren't just simple tricks like smile more or repeat someone's name in a conversation. These tools are rooted in 200 years of philosophy, psychology, and behavioral science. Used with intention, they create connection. Used carelessly, and they could potentially get you unlimited chicken at Chipotle. I'm not even joking. Each step makes you more attractive. And together, they'll make you unforgettable. Step 1, the Chipotle chicken hack. Let me tell you a story. One day I was in New York City, it was raining, and I was in a rush. I had a busy day, so I walked into a Chipotle, as one does. Clearly on edge, my legs were shaking, I was nervous, and really preoccupied by work. My mind was racing. I rushed to the counter and said, "Can I get a..." Then I caught myself, and I paused. I took a deep breath, and I slowed down. I said, "Hey man, how's it going? Everything all right?" Everything completely shifted. The server behind the counter smiled, we talked, and I think I got 4 times the amount of chicken for the cost of a bag of chips. Why? Because people crave to be seen, especially in jobs that they're often ignored at. This isn't a manipulation tactic, by the way. This is charisma. And being curious is the first step to getting what you want. So slow down, be human first, ask better questions. It'll take you far further than being physically attractive ever could. Before we get into the rest of the tricks, I think we need to talk about what makes a question actually good and why asking good questions are actually really important today. Because asking better questions isn't just a trick, it's a mindset. Good questions do more than just keep a conversation going, you see. They challenge someone's perspective. They can reduce conflict. They can inspire someone. And sometimes they can even transform how people think. Not just about others, but about themselves. And it's really, really important to ask good questions because good questions lead to better conversations. And better conversations lead to deeper connections. And deeper connections, well, that's the foundation of every great relationship, romantic or otherwise. Having a deep and strong relationship with someone is the foundation of attractiveness. Today, we're always taught to focus on answers, but the real power, it's in the questions. So if you want to be more charismatic, more attractive, don't just talk better, ask better. Step 2, escape the script mode. You've heard it before. How are you? Oh, I'm good. How are you? We've all been stuck in this small talk loop. It's boring and it's predictable. And honestly, it's exactly what the brain wants. Not to be challenged, not to be put on the spot. Whenever we're asked this question, our brain actually sighs in relief. We're like, oh shoot, I actually know the answer to this one. What have I said in the past? You're on autopilot. We enter script mode, or default questions, default answers, aka zero connection. So if you actually want to be attractive, you have to risk something. You have to be uncomfortable. If you want real presence with another human being, you have to break the pattern. And it's uncomfortable at first, I'll admit. It's not easy. You gotta ask something that they haven't answered already 1,000 times. It could be as simple as just trying, what are you excited about? What's been lighting you up recently? What's something from your weekend you wish you could relive? As Socrates says, the unexamined life is not worth living. In other words, when we ask better questions, we live better lives. Step 3, make them the expert. We're drawn to funny people, there's no doubt about it. Everyone loves to laugh, right? But what most people don't actually talk about is that we're drawn to people we make laugh because they make us feel funny. Likewise, we're not just drawn to interesting people. We're drawn to people who make us feel interesting. We feel important this way, not because they flatter us, but because they listen like we matter. So try asking interesting questions that shine the spotlight upon them, like, what's a belief that you have that most people don't agree with? Or what's something you wish people asked more about you? Step 4, echo and expand. Here's what most people do. They simply listen to speak. Here's what charismatic people do. They listen to continue. If someone tells you that they just got back from traveling, don't just say, cool. That's not it. Try, what surprised you the most? Was that feeling kind of freeing or overwhelming? Or both. Step 5, ask with your eyes. Sometimes the best questions aren't even verbal, you see. They live in your body language. They live in your stillness, in your eyes when you actually care about what someone's saying, when you're locked in with someone. But why does this work? It's not about presence, it's about the environment that your presence creates. The context. And context is like the background music in a movie. It silently tells people how to feel without them even noticing it. World famous designer Virgil Abloh described it like this.
If I put this candle in an all-white gallery space, it looks like a piece of art. If I put it on in a garage, it looks like a piece of trash.
The same thing happens with people in conversations. When you show up with calm energy, with curious energy, you design the room around the candle. You create a setting where the other person feels heard. Some people feel magnetic before they even speak, and that's because they create a safe space, one where people can open up without judgment, and that kind of presence makes people trust you. Step 6, most questions are safe. Good questions are not. The most charismatic people, they risk, and they risk to discover. Try, what haven't you said out loud in a while? Or, if you could change one part of your story, what would that be? Or, what's something you're working through right now? These questions aren't safe, they're alive. They open doors instead of closing them. And that's what charisma really is. It's not about having all the answers. It's about being brave enough to ask the questions that nobody will. As Albert Einstein says, the important thing is to not stop questioning. Curiosity has its own reason for existence. The final step, step 7, ask to learn, not just to connect. Most people think asking questions is just to be nice or polite, to make the other person feel good. But here's the truth. Asking questions isn't generous. It's selfish. And that's actually not a bad thing. When you ask questions from a place of genuine curiosity, you gain something super powerful, insight. You get to learn from someone else's experiences without having to go down the road that they went down. You get to analyze their wins, their losses, and their mistakes without having to live them yourself. Every person you talk to becomes a map. Their answers give you warnings, they give you shortcuts, and they give you the wisdom you need to make better decisions. You don't have to touch fire to know that it burns. You can ask someone who's already been burned. As Otto von Bismarck says, a fool learns from his own mistakes. A wise man learns from the mistakes of others. So yes, ask questions to connect, no doubt, but also ask questions to collect insight, to collect stories, to collect better tools for your future self. And that right there is the hidden power of curiosity. It doesn't just make you charismatic, it makes you wise. So at the end of the day, you don't need to be the funniest. You don't need to be looks-maxing or using gua sha or all that, even though that, I don't know, maybe that works, I don't really know. You don't have to be the best looking, that's my point. You just need to be the person that makes other people feel like their stories matter. Because you want to know what the real truth is? People fall for those who make them feel like themselves. Not a filtered version, not a performance, the real them. And you want to know where that all starts from? Asking better questions. Yo, you ever wonder why some relationships feel super fast and short-lived while others are deeper, slower, and more meaningful? It's like there's this hidden iceberg in every love story. What you see on the surface is just a tiny part of what's going on underneath. And for centuries, philosophers have been trying to crack this code. From Plato to Nietzsche, these thinkers weren't just writing dusty books. They give us a lot of knowledge and information about love that we can take to our relationships today. And so I've come up with the love iceberg. I've curated hundreds of years of advice into this love iceberg so that we can better navigate our relationships and love today. It's about understanding how we idealize people, chase quick thrills, avoid vulnerability. Philosophy breaks down these invisible patterns, shows us why fast love breaks and how slow love lasts. I like to think of it like philosophers are the OG relationship analysts. They just really use fancier words. Let's talk about parasocial relationships, or Baudrillard's hyperreality, which is basically a world where we can't tell the difference between what's real and what's fake. Have you ever fallen for someone online without really knowing them? That's how hyperreality works. We confuse the perfectly curated versions of people through their Instagram, what they post, with their real selves. We're in love with an image, not an actual human being. The fantasy of the perfect partner. Rousseau's romantic idealism. Jean-Jacques Rousseau believed the idea of a natural state, a pure, untamed version of humanity. But when it comes to love, that belief can mess with us. We chase this idea of perfect love untouched by flaws or sins, but real love is messy, it's not a fairy tale, and perfection means you might miss out on something real. Desire for validation over connection. Sartre's bad faith. So Jean-Paul Sartre. Jean-Paul Sartre, the existentialist philosopher, talked about something called bad faith. When we lie to ourselves, we avoid facing uncomfortable truths. In love, this looks like pretending we're deeply connected, when really we're performing a role. We chase validation, we chase likes, attention, admiration, but avoid vulnerability that real connection demands. We're not being honest with ourselves or others. So you've made it this far, you've made it past the dopamine rush from text. This is where love starts to get a little bit more real. Vulnerability and Soren Kierkegaard's leap of faith. Here's where it gets a little risky. Vulnerability is stepping into the unknown without guarantees. It's scary. Kierkegaard calls it the birthplace of love and connection. You're exposing parts of yourself you usually keep hidden, hoping the other person will catch you. It's what Kierkegaard, an existentialist philosopher, calls the leap of faith. Loving someone means taking that leap, knowing there's a chance you might fall. Trust building. Aristotle's philia. Aristotle, an ancient philosopher, believed that there are different kinds of love, and one of them, philia, the love of friendship, is one of the highest forms. It isn't really about grand gestures or passion. It's about kind of a mutual respect, shared values, and trust that's built over time. You're no longer just lovers, you're teammates, partners, and co-creators of a life together. It's slow, it's steady, and it's deeply grounded. Shared experiences, phenomenology. Phenomenology is all about how we experience the world. Philosophers like Merleau believe that meaning isn't something we find, it's something that we create through our interactions. In love, this means it's not about just you or the other person anymore. It's about you both kind of navigating a life together, building a shared reality that's richer because you're in it together. Emotional intimacy, Levinas interpersonal ethics. So philosopher Emmanuel Levinas said that truly seeing another person means recognizing their mystery, that they're fundamentally unknowable, and yet we care for them deeply because of that mystery and not spite of it. Emotional intimacy isn't about fully understanding someone. It's about being present with them. It's about respecting their complexity and embracing the fact that there's always going to be layers that you can't reach. Conflict navigation and Hegelian dialect. German philosopher Hegel believed in the dialect, which is putting two ideas that are conflicting and having them battle out with each other. And this kind of speaks to the idea that growth doesn't happen without conflict or confrontation. You know, you have to argue with your partner, and there's going to be moments where you have uncomfortable disagreements. But ultimately, this is where you can grow together. Each conflict isn't an end, it's a step forward to refine and strengthen your connection. This is where we get to closer to the bottom of the iceberg, where true love really begins to show through. And this is where most people never get to. It's not flashy, it's not loud, it's quiet and slow. It's where love becomes something deeper than just passion. It's beyond connection. It becomes transcendent. Acceptance of imperfection, Taoism, and wabi-sabi. Taoism teaches us to flow with life's natural rhythms, and the Japanese philosophy of wabi-sabi teaches us to find the beauty in imperfection and ephemerality, you know, things that aren't here forever. You know, you stop trying to fix your partner or yourself, and instead you really embrace each other's flaws. You live in the moment. You might not always be together, whether that be distance. You enjoy the moment now, and you love each other now. Deep commitment. Simone de Beauvoir, the feminist philosopher, believed that love should never be about possession. Authentic love, she said, is a partnership where both people feel free to grow themselves. It's not about merging into one identity, but standing side by side, helping each other reach new heights without losing their own essence. Deep commitment isn't always about clinging on to each other. It's about choosing each other every day in freedom. Interdependence. Martin Buber's I-thou relationship. Most relationships start quite transactional. It's based on what you can get from each other, how this person will make you look, how much money someone has, if the person is hot enough. But philosopher Martin Buber, he describes a deeper connection, the I-thou relationship. And it's when you stop seeing your partner as just an object or a role, and instead you see them as a whole complex human being. Its relationship is rooted in respect and genuine reciprocity. You're no longer separate entities, you're interconnected, yet still find yourselves. Shared values and life goals. Maslow's self-actualization. At this level, love becomes a platform for mutual growth. In deep love, you're not just growing individually, you align your values together, your goals and your visions for the future. Love isn't just really a feeling anymore, it's a foundation for becoming the best versions of yourselves together. Unconditional love, agape. We reach agape, which means unconditional love, and it's a Christian concept. Agape is the highest form of love, selfless and pure. Stoic philosophers saw it as a love that transcends personal gain, focusing entirely on the well-being of the other person. It's not just about what they can give you, it's about how they make you feel. It's about loving them because they exist. This is the kind of love that endures no matter what life throws your way. Now we've entered one of the deepest and most mind-blowing parts of the iceberg, and down here love doesn't make sense. It transcends logic altogether. The paradox of intimacy, Zeno's paradox. Zeno was an ancient Greek philosopher, and he proposed a super interesting paradox. If you keep halving the distance between two objects, you'll never actually arrive. No matter how close we get to someone, we can never fully become them. There will always be a gap, a sliver of mystery. But maybe that's the point. The pursuit of closeness is what makes love beautiful, even if perfect intimacy is totally impossible. Temporal paradox of love, Bergson's duration versus measurable time. Henry Bergson, it's a fire name by the way, a French philosopher, distinguished between clock time and lived time. Fast love races by. Moments collapse into each other. You're totally infatuated with this human being. But slow love, it stretches time, making ordinary moments feel infinite. It's not just about how long you've been together, it's about how deeply you experience each second together. The ship of Theseus, identity and love. So for this one, imagine a ship. Over time, every plank and sail of the ship is replaced. Is it the same ship? This is the ship of Theseus, a thought experiment about identity. In love, we're constantly changing and growing and shedding our skin. But are we still the same people that fell in love years ago? Maybe not, but does it matter? Maybe love isn't about staying the same. Maybe it's about growing together, piece by piece. The infinite mirror, Nietzsche's eternal recurrence. Nietzsche proposed a super powerful question. If you had to live this life over again and again and again for eternity, would you? In love, this becomes even more intense. Would you choose this relationship again and again and again for eternity, knowing all the highs and lows? If the answer is yes, then maybe that's the deepest affirmation of love that there is. The absurdity of love, Camus' myth of Sisyphus. Albert Camus wrote about Sisyphus, the dude that pushes the boulder up the hill, but never really reaches the top of the hill. He's condemned to this eternal life of suffering. But Camus says, we must imagine Sisyphus happy. Love can feel like that, like a never-ending grind. That's where we can find meaning. Love isn't perfect, and that's exactly why it matters. Embracing the imperfection, embracing the arguments that we have, living in that moment. Quantum entanglement of souls. Here's where we get deep, and this is, I haven't reached here. I don't know anyone who's reached here. In quantum physics, there's a weird phenomenon called entanglement. Two particles, no matter how far apart they are instantly connected. What happens is one affects the other despite distance. Love can feel like that. Even when we're miles apart, whether it's long distance or whatever, emotionally we're still intertwined. Like our souls are part of the same cosmic equation. So here, love isn't just a feeling. It's a paradox. It's a mystery. It's a journey that defies all law together. And it embraces the unknown. After diving through all the layers, we come to the final and deepest layer. From shallow infatuation to the paradoxes of intimacy, we've reached the ultimate foundation, the space where words begin to fail completely, where it's almost futile to even continue trying to explain the next levels. Love becomes something beyond explanation, beyond words altogether. The ineffability of love. Wittgenstein Tractus Logico. Wittgenstein Tragic Logico. Wittgenstein Tractatus Logico-Philosophicus. Jeez. Wittgenstein, a 20th century philosopher, wrote, "Whereof one cannot speak, thereof one must be silent." What he meant was that the most profound truths in life, like beauty or ethics, and yes, love, can't fully be captured by language. The deepest forms of love aren't ones that we can describe. They're the ones we feel in those quiet moments, when words only cheapen their meaning. Sometimes silence, I believe, says more than 1,000 I love yous. Non-duality in love. Advaita, fucking what? How do you say this shit? Advaita Vedanta and Buddhist Sunyata. In Advaita Vedanta, an ancient Indian philosophy, there's the idea of non-duality, that beneath all appearances, there's no true separation between the self and the other. Similarly, Buddhist philosophy speaks of sunyata, the concept of emptiness, where all things are interconnected, and the boundaries between all things are simply illusions. At the deepest level, love isn't just about you or me, it's about the dissolving of those lines, merging into a unified whole, where we're no longer separate beings, but part of something bigger. It's not just I love you, it's just love. In the end, love is both the simplest and most complex thing in the universe. It can't be explained or dissected or analyzed, even though, I'm doing it right now. Its truest essence lies really just beyond that. It's in the spaces between words, it's in the silences, it's between heartbeats. It's where you and I cease to exist. And maybe, just maybe, that's all we ever need to know. And finally, I'll leave us with this one. Henry's Law, the most important of them all. Nah, I'm just playing. I came up with it though, and I think it's kind of creative. The depth of emotional connection in a relationship is inversely proportional to the speed at which it develops. Think about that. Think about that. In simple terms, the faster you fall, maybe the shorter it lasts, the more likely you are to stay at the surface. It's like microwaving a frozen dinner, yo. Sure, it's quick, but it's not satisfying. Give me a steak or a sweet green or something. I don't know, give me something healthy. But when you take your time, when you let love simmer, allowing trust and vulnerability to unfold, allowing each partner to grow, that's when love turns into something deeper, more meaningful, and more importantly, the most enduring. Slow love isn't just a vibe, it's a strategy. I don't know about that one. Thanks for watching. Peace out, y'all. Love all y'all. Love you, supporters. Oh my. If I had just 60 seconds to teach you how to kill every relationship you have, here's exactly how you do it. Step 1. Treat every relationship like a transaction. Ask yourself what the people closest to you bring to the table. Love and friendship aren't enough. No. Only call them for money. Only hang out with them because they make you look good. Only text them if you need something. Step 2. Be the most negative person in the room. And when people do try to help, when they offer solutions, advice, or just a little optimism, shut it down. Because in step 3, you should never accept criticism or feedback. Always blame someone else or the world for your problems. And when someone offers advice, dismiss it. Act like you've already figured life out. That way, you never have to change, and everyone else eventually gives up on you. You see, relationships aren't usually destroyed by one big betrayal. They die from a pattern of small habits. Treating people like transactions, dragging them down with your negativity, or refusing to ever hear the truth. Give me 37 seconds to convince you why not watching this video in full could be the worst decision of your life. Most people think that asking questions is the way to keep the conversation alive. But Machiavelli, the man who taught kings how to hold power, once wrote that the one who asks obeys. And that's exactly why so many dates feel like job interviews instead of sparks flying. Because the second you hide behind safe questions like, what do, you've already surrendered. And if you don't catch yourself, you'll lose the spark before the conversation even begins. So in this video, I'm gonna show you 3 ways to talk to your crush, as if Machiavelli himself were teaching you how to win over a kingdom. Most people think asking questions is the easiest way to keep the conversation alive, but that actually kills attraction. It's easy to fall back on those safe questions like, what do you do for fun? But all that does is push the weight of the conversation onto the other person. Suddenly it feels less like a date and more like a job interview. Anyone can do that. What creates real attraction isn't asking, it's inferring. When you infer, you make educated guesses about someone based on what they give you, their vibe, how they look, what they've told you. And this does 3 really powerful things all at once. It makes the conversation more fun because guessing is playful. It makes it more dangerous because you put skin in the game. You can be wrong, which raises tension. And it makes you more present because you're not waiting to fire off the next canned question. You're actually observing. For example, instead of asking, do you like your job? You could notice the way that they roll their eyes when work comes up and point to their computer screen and say, you look like you're over it. That's an inference, and it's playful. It sparks emotion and makes the other person want to respond. Machiavelli once wrote, "Men in general judge more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see, but few can touch." In other words, most people just notice the surface. They notice what they see. They take things at face value and they stop there. They ask the boring questions over and over again. That's why their conversations feel stuck. That's why they're pushed into the friend zone. But when you actually observe, when you take what's on the surface and actually go deeper with an inference, you break out of the ordinary. You flip the script. You start sounding like a rare person who actually sees. That's what creates tension, spark, and presence. The point, attraction just dies when you're collecting facts, but it grows when you take the risk and say, hey, here's what I noticed about you. Number 2. Have you ever seen those Japanese motorbikes that can rev up to crazy RPMs? Being attractive is just as simple as turning the bike's handle and revving up your engine. Having the ability to rev your personality up in an instant to crazy RPMs is one of the most underrated and secret techniques in dating and attraction. Because the truth is, you're not always going to feel your best. Some days you're tired or you're stressed or you're caught up in your own head. But in a world full of people who hate their jobs, hate their friends, hate their life, who commute slowly through life like half-dead engines, the person who revs up, who listens with real presence, who fills a room with laughter, that person wakes other people up from their slumber, from the monotony of everyday life. Machiavelli, writing 500 years ago, noticed something simple but powerful. The people who move others aren't the cautious ones. They're the ones who act in boldness and take risk. He famously wrote, "Fortune favors the bold." And that's the same in conversation. People aren't drawn to hesitation. They're drawn to a spark, a person who brings life into a room, who shakes them out of autopilot, who makes them feel more alive just by being there. Looks may turn someone's head in a moment, but energy is what makes people remember you. Once you kind of got a little momentum in a conversation, you're going to be met with challenges and disagreement. And your initial reaction could be, oh no, it's over. This person doesn't like me. But what if I told you that that is wrong? Disagreement is good in a conversation. And it means that you're worth giving an opinion to, a real thought. Not being met with disagreement is what I call being hit with onion. An onion, like a conversation, has a lot of layers. And it's bad when you get hit with the surface layer, because the surface layer is full of small talk and friend zones. You want to go deeper, and you want to occupy those deeper layers of the conversational onion. And to do that, your crush is going to naturally challenge you and challenge your frame to see if you're worth being there. Attraction doesn't grow when you comply. It grows when you hold tension and you play with it. And Machiavelli would back this up. In The Prince, he wrote, "It is much safer to be feared than loved if one must choose." Not because cruelty wins hearts, but because people respect strength more than surrender. In conversation, the same principle, it applies. When someone pushes back, it's not rejection, it's a test. If you collapse and throw away your opinion, you lose weight. But if you hold your frame, or even double down with humor, you prove that you're worth taking seriously. That's why small talk, it dies on the surface, but playful disagreement, it feels alive. Attraction, it doesn't grow in compliance, it grows in tension, in the play between two strong people, between two strong frames. So in the end, most people lose their crush's interest within the first sentence. Not because they're not good enough, but because they play it safe. They hide behind small talk and low energy and quick agreement. The truth is, connection and attraction, it doesn't come from being perfect. It comes from being alive in the moment, making inferences and bringing energy, holding tension. Your crush is not going to remember the facts that you traded back and forth. They'll remember the spark that you brought to the room. And if you do that, you won't just be noticed. You'll be unforgettable. If you were my daughter, I'd give you 5 brutal truths about men that would save you years of heartbreak and wasted time. You see, men, well, they're like guitars. Some are beautifully made, some are cheap knockoffs, and some will never sound good no matter how much you practice. You can polish them up, restring them, even play them gently, but the wood underneath never changes. The trick is learning to recognize the sound early, before you waste years trying to make the wrong instrument play the right song. So here are 5 brutal truths about men that you need to know so that you can choose the right guitar and not waste your life trying to fix the wrong one. Brutal truth number 1. If you want to know who a man is, you gotta look at his friends. His friends say a lot about him. If his closest friends are cheaters, disrespect women, or treat relationships like a game, odds are he does too, because you are who you're surrounded by. A man is shaped by the company he keeps, and no one spends all their time surrounded by people with bad habits without picking some of them up. So pay attention to how his friends live, talk, and love, because it's a mirror of his own values. Men are like guitars. Even a good instrument will sound off-key if it's always played in a broken band. Brutal truth number 2. The second truth is that when a man tells you who he is, listen to him the first time. If your boyfriend or a guy you like does something strange or makes a mistake, pay attention. For example, if you catch him lying about something small or even stealing something, and then later he cheats on you, the signs were already there. Likewise, if he's honest and caring to strangers or does the right thing even when no one's looking, that's a sign that his character is pure, and he'll probably treat you similarly. My point is, actions are never just random. They're tied to a man's worldview and his character. One mistake doesn't mean he's a bad person. Everyone makes mistakes, but mistakes can give you a glimpse into who he really is. Heraclitus, one of the oldest and most important philosophers, simply said, "Character is fate." What he means is that character, or the way we think, feel, and believe, is ultimately the way we end up. Our internal world affects our external world. That means that a man's beliefs form patterns and habits, which ultimately shape the world that's around him. What his situation is, what his environment is, how healthy his relationships are. You see it all the time. A guy cheats on his girlfriend and he swears it was just a mistake, and she finally relents, getting back together with him, just for him to do it again. That's because cheating wasn't just a mistake. It was part of how he thinks and sees the world. Men are like guitars. One bad note can be forgiven, but if the wood is warped, no amount of tuning will ever change the sound. But before we get into brutal truth number 3, if you're enjoying the video so far or you're gaining any sort of value from it, I would really appreciate it if you hit the like and sub button. I make videos like this every single week. So if you like what I'm doing or you like the messages that I'm putting out, I would really appreciate you joining the team. Back to the video. Brutal truth number 3. And I kind of feel like I'm not supposed to say this one. But the truth is, intimacy is valuable. Really valuable. And giving it to the people who matter most speaks volumes about a man's character and reveals every hidden intention inside of him. You often find that patience itself reveals character. When you take your time, you don't rush into anything, you enjoy a slow burn, the right kind of man will make his intentions clear by staying, while the wrong kind of man will quietly leave and completely lose interest. What makes intimacy attractive isn't just the act, it's the meaning behind it. Think about it like this. Things that are rare are valuable, and things that are valuable are attractive. That's just human nature. So when you take your time in being intimate with a man, you become more rare, which makes you more valuable in his eyes. Men are like guitars. You should be selective about which ones you choose to play, because the wrong one will only leave you feeling frustrated and out of tune. Brutal truth number 4. A man who wants you won't confuse you. If he's serious, you'll feel it. Mixed signals usually mean he just wants you when it's convenient, when he's lonely, or when he's just looking for your body. And it's not something you should put up with. Real interest doesn't leave you second guessing, no. If you find yourself constantly decoding texts or wondering where you stand or making excuses for why he disappears, you already have your answer. Men are like guitars. When you're confused whether it's in tune or not, it's probably not in tune. Finally, brutal truth number 5. Men will always show you how they feel with their actions, not with their words. You see, words, they're easy. Effort is not. If he says he cares but never shows up, never makes time, or never follows through, then the words, they mean nothing. Pay more attention to what he does rather than what he says. This is good advice for dating, but it's also just good advice for life. Because actions reveal truth far louder than promises do. Men are like guitars. You don't judge them by the promises printed on the label, but by the music they make when they're actually played. If I had 3 minutes to explain how people lose respect for you, I wouldn't show a public failure or getting rejected. I'd simply show you a balloon. Because respect is like a balloon. It's full when you walk into the room, but it only stays that way if you protect it. Some people believe that letting the air out of your balloon will make theirs look bigger, but that's not the real danger, you see. The real danger is when you start letting the air out yourself through your attitude. So here are 13 attitudes that make everyone completely lose respect for you. Number 1, saying yes when you really mean no. Saying yes to things that you don't really want to do teaches people that your time is always available to them. Number 2, throwing harmless jabs. Light teasing can be flirtatious and fun, but overdoing it definitely changes the way that people can feel about you. Number 3, over-apologizing. Constantly saying sorry subtly puts you below the person that you're talking to. Number 4, talking just to fill space. Filling every pause with words leaves less room for others to speak. Number 5, laughing when you're not amused. Fake laughing, or laughing when you find something not funny, can make it seem like you agree. And before long, you're a different person in someone else's head, keeping up an act for approval or validation instead of just being yourself. Number 6, hiding behind corporate jargon. Using only formal language with someone instead of being real can make you seem fake or disconnected. Dropping the act and being direct builds more trust. Number 7, agreeing just to keep things smooth. Nodding along just to avoid tension makes it unclear what you actually believe. Number 8, doubling down instead of listening. When someone gives you advice and you refuse to consider it, it shows that you care more about being right than actually getting better. Number 9, letting interruptions slide. When someone cuts you off and you never circle back to your original thought, it tells the other person that your ideas, they don't matter. Not to them and not to you. Number 10, softening every statement. Adding, I don't know, or if that makes sense, makes your ideas sound less certain. Number 11, playing the jester without any sincerity. Always joking can be fun. I love a good joke. But if you never show any realness, people might not take your opinions seriously. They'll just assume that you're always joking. Number 12, never being the one to set the plan. If you never take initiative, you'll risk fading into the background. Number 13, easily backing down when you get questioned. Dropping your view too quickly signals that you didn't believe in it to begin with. So there you have it. That's 13 habits that make people lose respect for you. This is the advice that your parents never gave to you. Not because they didn't love you, but because they were trying to protect you. They didn't want you to know how cold love could get, how silence can be more painful than screaming. But I want to tell you the truth, because if you know these truths, you'll stop settling for people who love you halfway. But today, I'm not telling these truths alone. My mom's here with me.
I have comments.
Tomorrow is her 35th wedding anniversary with my dad. And that matters, because if we want to have relationships that last, we need to learn from the people who've actually done it. Let's talk about the cheat codes, the real ones, the ones that actually protect your heart. Number 1, nobody is busier than someone who doesn't want you. Simone de Beauvoir once said, "One is not born, but rather becomes a lover." Love is a choice, an action, a pattern. Someone who loves you will make time, not find it.
This doesn't even have to do with like boyfriends and girlfriends. This has to do with fathers and sons and children and mothers, that if they're not finding time for you, then you have to let them go. It's painful. It's a painful realization.
Psychologically, we know about effort justification. When people invest in something, they want it more. So if they're not investing time, attention, or presence, They're telling you everything you need to know.
But as soon as you say that's who they are and they don't want to be part of my life, someone else comes in.
Stop waiting for someone who's always busy. Their calendar is not the problem, their desire is. Number 2, politeness isn't attraction. They smiled, they texted back, they were polite. But that's not attraction, that's social training. Nietzsche warned us most people lie with their manners. Politeness here is often a mask to avoid confrontation. And real love requires confrontation. Real attraction requires confrontation.
If you're like, yes, and you're like just kind, I have to read that and say, we're having a topical meal, we're not having the deep, meaningful meal.
They don't want to hurt your feelings, so they don't say no. They say maybe, some other time, soon, or I'm not sure. But let's be honest, if they've really liked you, they would know. Politeness without action is just emotional ghosting with manners. Number 3, mixed signals equals a no. Mixed signals aren't a mystery, they're avoidance. They want your attention, but not your commitment.
In contemporary society, there's like that friends with benefits type thing. If you can't say no within the relationship, you have to say no to the whole relationship. There are lots of people who mistake physical love with real love.
Philosopher Soren Kierkegaard said, anxiety is the dizziness of freedom. Some people love the option of you, not the reality. So they keep you close enough to feel wanted, but far enough to never actually love you. Real love is clear. It's not a riddle. If someone's hot and then cold, it's not because they're deep. It's because they're unsure. And if they're unsure, you should be gone. Number 4, trying to change their mind is a waste. You can't convince someone to love you. That's not a romantic arc. That's a tragedy.
It's called the pathetic factor. And I've been on both ends of the pathetic factor. I dated someone in college for a long time, and they, like, I'm an artist and I had a show, and they didn't come to my show. But then when I said, I've had enough, I'm out, then they said to me, oh, no, you know, I'll do this, I'll come to your show. Then they became pathetic.
Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, said, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. You're not responsible for someone's clarity. You are responsible for your own boundaries. Trying to convince someone that already decided maybe not is like watering dead soil. If they don't want you now, they won't want you when you shrink yourself to fit their own preferences. Number 5, very few people will like you enough to actually commit. This one's hard. A lot of people will like you, but very few people will like you enough to actually build something with you.
You drop a rock or a pebble into water, and that first ring is who you're like on the journey with for the long haul. The next ring is 3 people. The next level is 5 people. After that, there's no one that will matter.
The philosopher Martin Buber described 2 ways of seeing the world: the I-it and the I-thou. Most people see others as objects, temporary, replaceable, convenient. But the rare ones, they see you as a soul. So don't get caught up in being liked. Look for the ones that are willing to build. Number 6, how you're treated is more valuable than how much you love them. You can love someone more than oxygen. But if they treat you like you're disposable, that's not love, that's self-abandonment.
Well, we only allow people to treat us up to the point that we allow to treat ourselves. If you're willing to starve yourself and brutalize yourself, you'll take that much abuse from someone else, but not more than that.
Bell Hooks wrote that love and abuse cannot coexist. If someone disrespects you, but you stay with them because you love them, that's not loyalty, that's fear. That's fear dressed up as devotion. Your love isn't more important than their behavior. Watch how they treat you. That's the story. Number 7, never beg for something which should be given out freely. You shouldn't have to beg for kindness, time, or clarity. Those are baseline requirements for love, not bonuses.
Love is active. It's not just receiving. It's actually not thinking about what you're receiving. It's about giving. How can I be of service to this human and this soul? Because I want the best for them. I want the best for them. At the end of my life, if God says to me, wow, you served them well, that's my gift.
Khalil Gibran wrote, if you love someone, set them free. And if they're not offering love freely, don't take what they give you reluctantly. You'll end up attracted to the crumbs when you deserve a feast. Number 8, and this is the most important. This is the hack that most people get wrong. Slow love is countercultural. The world tells you to fall fast, swipe fast, hook up, move on. But real love is slow, it's quiet, and it unfolds like a good novel, not like a trailer.
It's more delicious because the banquet lasts longer. Who doesn't want to go through fast food and get some jalapeno poppers, right? Great, but then you feel sick as soon as you eat them, right? And you're like, oh, I'm gonna move on to the next thing. You know, when you fast and you're fasting all day and then you sit down to a meal that lasts for hours, there's no comparison. With fast food, you're never gonna be satisfied. You don't get the nutrition that you wanted to. You just have to have the commitment to being committed, and you have to have the dedication to being committed.
The philosopher Byung-Chul Han says we're addicted to speed because we're afraid of depth, but love needs depth. It needs patience, stillness, and time. Let your love move like water, not like fire. Because fire burns quickly, but real love, slow love, carves mountains.